Thanks so much, Graham. Hello, everyone. I'm so excited to be here with everyone. Thanks for joining in. Before we get into top 5 mistakes, I always like to give a little, why are you listening to me? Who am I? My name's Ilana Hubert-Katz. I'm currently the co-owner and director of business development and coaching at Keller Williams Legacy in Towson, Maryland. I've been with Keller Williams since 2015, and in my time, I have worn almost every hat I can think of. Inside sales associate, agent, assistant team leader for 2 years. And I've been a coach since 2017 at multiple different locations. Now, why this topic is so near and dear to my heart is as a coach, I built and rebuilt multiple coaching departments. And through that, started what I didn't even know was called Teamerage in 2018. I had 42 agents with me in coaching. And I thought these agents want leads. So why not give them to them? I knew because of my inside sales associate days, leads, appointments, success for all, right? So in 2018, I started my first Teamerage without giving it the name Teamerage, and stumbled my way along having a full year, if not more, of a whole lot of failures. So anytime I can share those failures with people when they're launching to not make the same mistakes I have, let me do that. So that's where this comes in today. I've relaunched multiple times. Even so, 3 months ago, relaunched yet again at the current location that I'm co-owner of. And since relaunching 3 months ago, I will tell you, we've closed 8 transactions from Market Center leads provided in 90 days and currently have 10 million in volume in the pipeline since that relaunch. So hopefully today you all walk away with at least one thing to not do when launching or relaunching Teamerage. So let's kick it off. I always want to start off by saying, I will, this is your time. You took time out of your day today to spend it with me listening to this topic. So please, throughout this, put your questions, your thoughts, your ideas in the chat box. I'm going to be checking that throughout. I will hopefully get to as much as I can today. If not, my email is attached to my name. So feel free to send me an email. I'd love to get back to you with whatever that question is to help you. All right. So let's dive right in. First mistake. Don't wait to try to line up all the ducks before starting. All right. We fall into this trap of analysis paralysis, right? Usually if I'm in person with people, I'm like, everybody raise your hand if you ever fall into the analysis paralysis. On Zoom, it's always a little different because you can't, I see one hand like on the screen. It's wonderful. Thank you. So let's talk about ways to start. I'm going to give you 2 best practices to start with that you can literally start in the next 7 days. Okay, now some of you might be like, hold on, I'm not ready for 7 days, so I'll say 30 days. How about that? I'll give you a little extra time. As a coach, I put everything around accountability and goal dates. So you're going to hear that throughout this whole session, my coaching self coming out. The very first thing, choosing a lead source. All right. Now, there's so many different ways to do this, and there's not one way. So I'm going to share some best practices around a mistake that I made in the beginning. And yesterday I had the privilege of talking to an amazing group of leaders in California. And I know one of the individuals out there, Graham, was sharing one of the mistakes he made, which was the same one as myself. I don't know if he's on here. If so, hi, Garrett. He runs a very successful Teamerage as well. And what we did was we started with paid online leads. We're running ads through Command. Now, to this day, I run ads through Command. I've been doing it since Command became available. I'm also a labs advisor with Keller Williams. And you will want to run ads through Command. That will be a source you will absolutely want to use. Why that was a mistake to start with in the beginning was I threw a lot of money at it. We know with online leads, on average, it is 6 to 9 months at best, depending on the market, for them to convert. Not only that, but then you have the follow-up strategies needed to give the agents, right? Most agents, follow-up is not their forte. So providing them with extra skill set training on follow-up strategy and also inspecting those leads even closer to make sure they're being followed up on. So there's a lot of time on task with those online lead sources to start with. Again, not a bad source, used it to this day. In the past year, I've given out, oh my goodness, well over 1,800 Facebook ad leads now, if not in the 2000s. Run them every week. The one that if I were to go back today, someone says, hey, if you were to go back to 2018 and say, all right, you have these people in Teamerage, or back then I think I'd put a B in it, was Teamerage, right? You have people in Teamerage. What source am I going to start with? I'd actually say a lead aggregator. So a lead aggregator is a company that, and there's multiple out there, okay? It's a company that provides warm transfers to agents, right? Things like, and I'm just going to name a few, but do your own research in your own location to find what works best for you. There's Opcity, there's Ojo, there's Prime Street. There's our partner Rise, Keller Williams partner Rise, which oversees that and give you training on that. Those are just to name a few. What's really nice with a lead aggregator to start, yes, there's a percentage back to that company, a referral fee back to the company, but the agents get in production faster. We had an agent join us, brand new agent, just out of real estate school. She joined us 2 months ago. 30 days in, she went through what we call our boot camp training. She went through her training. 30 days in, she got put on the lead aggregator. She got a rental lead that called her, warm transferred. She flipped that rental lead into a buyer lead. They got pre-approved for $500,000, and she had her first closing in less than 90 days as a brand new agent with a $535,000 buyer, right? Now we talk about on our end, the agent win, right? Everything's focusing on the agent. If we're focused on the agent and them winning and providing them these leads, at the end of the day, Teamerage will win, meaning the market center and the revenue and the growth and the profit will all increase. Not to mention we're closing the back door, because do you think that agent's going to want to leave now? Right? We physically handed them someone right in their first 30 days that closed within 90 days, and they made money off of it. That agent is a raving fan. So the very first thing is find one lead source to start with, right? Now, I'll give you one other best practice before I move on to the second step, which is finding an agent to start with. And this is something that it's interesting. I fell into this, and it's finding your top producing agents in your market centers, reviving their old databases. We have a top producer here in our market center who I met with last year, and he has this huge database. Doesn't work it at all. He works his Sphere database. He had a database of leads he used to pay for, right? Potential seller leads. So he had over 1,000 leads of potential sellers from a year ago that he's not touching. He never touched. They're just hanging out. So I said, hey, why don't you hand those over to Teamerage, right? We call ourselves Legacy All-Stars because it's just fun. So why don't you hand them over to Legacy All-Stars? We'll call on these. We'll do a 25% referral on anything that closes back to you. Win-win. He loves it. Just this Sunday, one of our agents called on one of them, got a listing appointment for today. It's not until 5 today, so I don't know what the outcome is, but they called Sunday. They got a listing appointment for today out of one of those old leads. Everybody wins in that scenario. Okay. So step one, find that lead source to start with. Step two, find the agent. Now, here's the thing. In the very beginning, just start with an agent, just one. That's all you need. You'll grow it as time goes. Again, we overthink it. You don't have to have everything lined up. The best way to start with agents is just look around your market center. Who's showing up for Ignite? Who's engaged in trainings? Who's coming in, right? And then schedule a 1-hour session. Let's say next week, Wednesday. Next week, Wednesday, put a 1-hour session, do a lunch and learn at 12 o'clock, because everybody, we know agents show up for food, right? You say food provided, all of a sudden they all flock in. And invite all of these engaged agents, solo agents, by the way, invite all these solo agents, have them come on into this free food session and say, hey, we're having the session next week at 12, Wednesday, food provided, and we're going to talk about upcoming lead opportunities. Lead flow opportunities. That's your key verbiage right there. Everybody shows up. Everybody. Even agents who are not showing up. will show up when you say lead flow opportunity. Then in that session, you don't have to have all the answers. You don't need to have, again, all the ducks lined up. You're simply engaging them in a conversation about what you're looking to grow and how you want to bring them in to that, right? And asking them the question, hey, are you interested in more support and leads for your business? They're going to say yes. There you go. You got your first few agents to start with. All right. So I'm going to move on to the second mistake right now, but please, as we're going through these, put in the chat box any questions. I will be checking on that. And anything that if you are currently also running Teamerage and you have some best practices, share those as well. So everybody on this Zoom right now can also be learning, ahas, agents helping agents. Keep sharing throughout the chat box. I love using that as an engagement tool on these Zooms. All right, let's move into number 2. Going too big from day one, right? So slide 1 was, don't line up all the ducks, just start. Get some leads, get an agent, begin, okay? Step number 2 is, don't go too big all at once. So this happened to me, 2018. I was all in. I'm like, great, I'm going to throw all this money at leads. I have 42 agents I'm going to throw into this, whether they're engaged or not. And it's going to be wonderful and everybody's going to produce. And I'm a very huge optimistic person. So this is going to be the biggest thing ever. And it was not. End of 2018, I look back at the conversion rates and the money spent, and it was an absolute learning moment, I'll call it. We call it failing forward. That was a big failing forward. Thousands of dollars down the toilet. So in the very beginning, again, just pick that one lead source to start with. That's also a great way to start with your agents' databases or lead aggregators, is you're not spending money right from the get-go. Okay, we're all about cutting expenses right now, saving money, looking at our P&L, right, for our financials. So this is a great way to start with, to make money, to then reinvest back into it, to then spend money on more leads as you grow. Okay, so start with just one lead source, and just start with a few agents to start with. You're gonna uptick it. You're gonna grow very quickly. Okay, but in the very beginning, just start with one agent, 2 agents, 3 agents, one lead source, right there. That's all you need. And then choose your system. Now, huge fan, we all have access to, at our Market Center, every single one of us has access to what's called a Pro Coach command. Okay, Pro Coach command is simply a team version of command. That's all that is. It's a team command because you're running Teamerage like a team. So if you don't have access or you don't know how to get into Pro Coach command, that's your first step today. Right after this call, go into, and feel free to email me. I can send you a cheat sheet. You can also go to answers.kw.com, type in Pro Coach command, and it will show you how to access it, to reset your password and log in. But that will allow you to automate smart plans, automate emails, automate texts, right? Provide so much lead flow automation. That's also where these agents are going to be added to as the team to be able to track everything. Okay. And then spend your money wisely. Track, track, track. Again, huge mistake made was throwing a bunch of leads and a bunch of agents just in the pot and not having any tracking system set up whatsoever and just hoping for the best. So make sure you are tracking. Now, when I say you, it might not be you. You might have a virtual assistant. You might have we'll talk about the who in a minute. You might have somebody on your leadership team to help you, right? You might hire an intern, right? Who's looking to learn about business and growing a business. Great internship. But find somebody who's going to track not only the leads coming in, the conversion rates, but also the pipeline growth of the agents who are giving leads to. And I'll share this because, one of the biggest things that, I don't know if anybody can relate to this. Please, in the chat box, if you can relate to this, so I'm not alone in this statement, throw a yes in there if you relate to this. I love instant gratification. right? Great, I'm going to send some leads to an agent, and tomorrow we're going to have business and I'm going to see money in a month. If you love instant gratification and you want to see high conversions tomorrow, and you're expecting that, please let me not be alone. Throw yes in the chat box. Be like, that's me. That's another big mistake to avoid. You got to give this time. This is not a overnight success, right? You're going to have, depending on the lead sources and the accountability, we're going to talk about that. Ooh, accountability. That's a big word. That's a big word for Teamerage. You need that. If you are expecting a result right away, this will fail because you're going to want to revamp all the time every 30 days and you can't, right? Stay the course, stick with the agents, stick with the leads, stick with the follow-up, track it throughout and see the growth. You will start seeing some small successes within that first 90 days. The true success is going to come within that first year. And it's going to take that time. Okay, so just track everything and stay the course. Oh, I love the yeses. That's awesome. So one of the questions, I want to jump to the chat box. One of the questions I see, thank you, Mark. Can you use a team account instead of Pro Coach? So you absolutely can. You absolutely can. The biggest difference of that I've seen, and this is just a personal preference, is on the team account, the MCA, your MCA will need to do a little bit more at the end of every month. The revenue, the numbers that come in, the Teamerage is features of a team with branding and numbers of the agents, right? And the recognition for the agents. So the team account typically in the back end, now I don't know how the new command's going to work and all of that. So this is more of an MCA question. That is one hat I have never worn. But usually the team account, the tracking is a little bit different on the MCA side when it comes to the end of the month and recognition and numbers and the top-down report. Other than that, Pro Coach is simply that. It's a team account. So in a shorter version, yes, Mark, you can do that. Thank you for that question. All right. Let's talk about the third mistake to avoid: not having a signed agreement. Now, you don't need a full Teamerage agreement. Again, going back to slide 1, you don't need all your ducks lined up in a row, and you don't need to sit there for the next 90 days creating this perfect agreement. You're going to change your agreement constantly in your first year. You're going to add to it. You're going to grow it. You're going to change standards, expectations. In the very beginning, I had a 1-page agreement. It was called engagement agreement. I will receive all of your email addresses as participants of this. And what I will do, because I'm going to receive all your emails and because you showed up today, is I will send you a copy of my very first engagement agreement that I kicked off Teamerage with. Feel free to use it, don't use it, pull from it, whatever you want to do. That's my little gift to you for showing up today and spending time with me. But you need something in writing. You need something that says, what do we expect of you as an agent? What should you expect of us as your leadership team? And also, what are the splits going to be? Because I'm not saying that agents, what's the saying out there, buyers are liars. I'm not saying that agents will come back and argue, but they will. If you don't have something in writing, that one agent who is a closing will come back and say, well, I never signed anything on a 50-50. I don't know what you're talking about. Unfortunately, that happens. So please do not hand a lead to an agent without them signing something, even if it is literally a 3-line thing that says, here's your split. Okay. So I want to talk a little bit about standards and expectations. Now, in the very beginning, whoever is going to be leading your Teamerage, you want to have some sort of standards expectations for both the agents, whoever the leader is of your Teamerage, and also of just leadership team in general, of the market center, right? What should they expect of us to give back to them? So it's really important to come up with what some of those are. Now, upcoming little plug right now, May 16th, Brokers to Teamerage in 90 days. We spend a full session and a half all on creating, you actually get a workbook on creating standards and expectations for those agents and best practices around it. And then splits. Now, what we've seen out there as best practices, 50-50. Keep it really simple. Every lead Market Center provides 50-50 split back to the brokerage, right? Now, the 60-40, we currently have warmed up leads. So we have an outside ISA company, inside sales associate company, who I sent 1,000 of our old leads to revive. And the ISAs call them up. And when they have that warm person on the phone who said, yes, I do want to buy, I do want to sell within X amount of time, they transfer that directly, warm transfer, to select agents who've earned the right to receive those. So not everybody gets those. And those are on a 60-40, 60 to the Market Center, 40 to the agent. I'll tell you, the agents we have currently on that program getting the warm leads, I call them the hotter of hot. Those are our producers. We have producers on that. We have people who I know can close and close and close. They're not the newbies. And they have no problem. They love those leads. They have no problem with that split whatsoever. Okay. That was another big mistake. Is in the beginning, I didn't do these splits. I thought the agents would push back. I thought that retention would go down. I thought they would leave us. I was very scared. I was extremely scared. I'm like, no, like they're not going to like this. Oh, that is not the case. They love it. They love the handoff of leads. They have no problem with the splits whatsoever. So throw that out of your mind right now. All right, moving on to the fourth. Who is your who? Now, again, going back to the first slide, all ducks in the row, you do not have to have the exact person in place today to start, right? There's a team that I consult outside in California, a great team, and they are doing something brilliant right now. While they're looking for that who to oversee it, they're taking their entire leadership team, and each person plays a part. They have their OP, their TL, their agent services, their Market Center tech trainer. They even have their lender who is part of it. And each one of them has a to-do item, responsibility, as they're growing their Teamerage and as they're looking for the main who's going to then oversee it. Okay. So you will eventually need that, whatever you want to call them, director of lead gen, director of sales, director of Teamerage. You will need that person. Here at our Market Center, I oversee it, and then I have two coaches who run it. Okay. For years, it was me, myself, and I. Right. Then it was, so if you have a coach, your coach is a key person. If they are not on this call, there will be a recording of this. I will be sending that out to all the people attending. Please, if your coach is going to be involved in this, share this with the coach. Your coach needs to be brought in every step of the way if they're going to be part of this, and they should be, if you have a coach, productivity coach, should I say. Because you need someone who's going to be able to track. You need someone who's going to be able to coach skills. You need someone who's going to hold the agents accountable. Doesn't all need to be the same person. It might be in the beginning, right? In the very beginning, as a coach, it was just me. But all of these items will need to be done within that startup. All right. Fifth mistake to avoid. Ooh, biggest mistake of all. So whether you've been to family reunion, sitting in some of the different OP sessions, whatever you have it in the leadership side, we constantly hear those who control the leads and appointments control the market. Right. And that's true. I was sitting in a session and Gary Keller was sharing, and I hope I don't butcher this, but Gary Keller was sharing that on average, our teams that we have in our Market Center are earning 25% of the profit, while our brokerages are taking in 1%. right? As a brokerage, we have the largest team count out there because we have the largest, typically on average, we have the largest solo agent count. We also know that what do agents, if you ask any agent, if you all call and talk to 20 agents today and say, what is the one thing you want more of? Yes, they're probably, some of them are going to say time back in my life. But those who are newer agents, and when I say newer, I'm talking about people who have not capped yet. So maybe 3 closings, 4 closings, no closings. If you ask them, what do you want? They're going to say, I want leads. I want business. Well, leads and business. That's it. Leads and appointments. So if at the simplest foundational level of Teamerage, we go, okay, in the next 30 days, how do I find one lead source to start with, a few agents, or even just one agent to start with, to give the agents what they want? And as we focus on the agent, the win-win automatically happens because the market center revenue will grow, right? If they're closing deals, they're not cappers yet. By the way, I do have cappers in my program, and they're on the 50-50 and 60-40 that we are still, we have one capper right now who she's capped, yet still providing with those leads, the percentage back to the market center. Okay. So it truly can be a win-win for everyone. So without starting Teamerage very quickly, we are missing the opportunity on growing our market centers, because if you call people today or shoot a mass text to agents in your market, non-KW agents saying, hey, do you want to learn about some lead flow opportunities? They're going to text back saying, yes, I do, right? Increasing brokers' profitability. Right? There's an easy make offer for immediate response with this. Once you start up, you simply call people. Hey, hey, Graham, this is Ilana with Keller Williams Legacy. I've heard, have you heard about our new Teamerage lead program? He'll be like, no, what are you talking about? Just last week, we gave agents 12 leads that are ready for appointments. And I'm actually using a real life example, except for the one, rather than the one you're seeing on the screen, I'm using a real life today example. Just last week, we gave 12 warmed up leads to our agents. Already within those 12, we have 3 listing appointments and 5 buyer appointments set. Could you use some additional leads and appointments in your business? Mofer, get them in person. That lands them almost every time. I say almost because we don't win everything. Real estate's no such thing as 100% real estate. Retention, they're producing, they're happy, we're giving them things. They're not leaving. And then they're becoming your raving fans. They're telling other people. Okay. So finally, again, don't fall into that analysis paralysis as so many of us do. I know myself, I have many, many times, especially when you start it and then have failures, you may find yourself stopping and thinking, I need to line everything up for it to be perfect the next time for me not to fail. That's exactly what I did. Don't do that. Okay. It was 6 months of waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting that could have built profit, right? I look back and say, wow, where could our profit be today if I didn't wait? So I always like to ask this at every single training that I lead is, you've went through 5 mistakes. This is a very quick crash course. Okay. If you want the full, talking about leads, talking about systems, revenue growth, reverse engineering profit growth, so much more, please join me. Brokerage to Teamerage in 90 days starts up May 16th. May 16th. Scan this code, email me for more information, get all of your leadership on it, who's going to be part of it. But let me just go ahead and open this up for some questions. And I'd love for people in the chat box, what is one thing you're going to implement within 24 hours? You know, trainings are only as good as what we implement the next day or within 24 hours. So what's one thing you can do in the next 24 hours regarding anything related to Teamerage? Go ahead and throw it in the chat box. You can raise your, those little reaction button at the bottom of your screen. You can like put your hand up and I'll see it. And I get to, you can come off of mute. Oh, I love it. Susie Miller, identify one lead source. David, good question. What aggregator have you seen that didn't work? That is a really great question. And I'm going to be completely honest and say, I have not seen one that I have not used one yet that has not worked. I've seen some that agents don't like because you start out with rental leads, but it's just setting the expectations with agents of what type of leads they're going to get through those aggregators. Some agents will choose to opt in. Some agents won't, and that's okay, right? First two steps, choosing lead source, identify agent. That's it. Choose that this week. I love it. Does your MCA need to have a separate set of books? Matt, great question. Depends on how you run it. I've seen people run Teamerage above the line and below the line. That is something we're going to talk about in the brokerage Teamerage program. That 1 day a week, 1 hour sessions for 9 weeks. Is talking about the difference between those. Our MCA does not have a different set of books because we run it right through our brokerage for our profitability. And I see a hand raised. I don't want to get your name wrong.
Jordis.
Jordis, hi.
I do have a question relating to the PC coach, but yet I like Ed's question as well in the chat box. He says the splits that you quoted, the 50, 50, 60, 40, do they include the market center split, or is there a separate split for the market center, just like on a team?
If I heard you correctly, the 60-40 includes the market center split. So to give you an example, our market center split for all of our agents is 70-30. 70 agent, 30 market center. So one of our agents who was a capper, right? That 60% that's coming to the market center, she's now only paying in 30% to the market center because she's already capped, but she's still paying 30% on that lead that she has it's about to close. Did that make sense? Did I confuse you?
A little bit. So let's just say 50-50, right? Let's say 75 and 75. Of their agent 75, do they still have a regular market center split?
Yes.
They,
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Just like a normal team would. Okay, cool.
Yep.
And if I could just add another layer to that, if you guys don't mind, on the say you do have a PC coach that's supporting this, is there a compensation model you've seen that works well for that when you have somebody leading it, but then you have PC coaches supporting it?
Oh, yes. So that is a very good question. And I've seen multiple models. I'm putting my contact information in the chat box here. Email and texting works the best. So to give you a short answer, and then please feel free to email me and I can send over more information on this or connect with you offline, and anybody who wants to be part of that as well. Salary plus percentage, higher percentage making up the majority of their, so basically they're getting a cut of everything. Because then that drives the coach to get the agents in production faster, because the more the agent wins, the more the coach wins, the more the market center wins, and it's just a win-win. Yeah. Did that give you an answer?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, absolutely. And I got my contact information. Feel free to reach out. Definitely had many failures of that, hiring coaches over the years, as well as myself being hired as a coach. In different aspects. So yeah. All right. Any other, Sarah?
Yeah, so I just wanted to reconfirm because it was a little confusing when people were saying splits versus cap, et cetera. So let's just use an example. Let's say there's $1,000 commission and the market center gets 50% and the agent gets 50%. But then the agent still owes a cap, which in our market is an 80-20. So they would then pay 20% of their $500 into the market
center. I'm processing your question. So I want to make sure I heard it correctly.
Well, it sounded like originally you said that the 50-50 included, that would also include the cap they would have to pay the office. But that doesn't make sense to me because in some situations, we're having to pay a 35% referral fee out to the lead aggregator. So that only leaves 15% to the market center, which would not cover their cap.
All right, so Sarah, yep, great question. I'm going to answer this two ways. One is right now, because I do consult some companies out there, or not companies, brokerages, category brokerages, and work with some OPs on lining up their split structures. And I will tell you that everybody I've worked with sets it up a little bit differently. So you have to look to see what's best for your brokerage. I will share our personal example, and then you can kind of take it from there. Our 50-50 includes the cap. So when they're paying the 50,
But how does,
it's going
yeah.
towards it, that whole thing is going right towards the cap, because at the end of the day, as a coach, my number one goal as a coach and my coaching team, create cappers, create leaders, create cappers. Right.
Right. But the question I have though is if you're looking at like a 70-30 split, if you took a lead and as the brokerage, so what are you saying that the referral fee to the lead aggregator comes off the top?
Yep.
And then you split it 50-50?
Yep. Now,
oh, that way. Okay. I thought
100%.
We were looking at it that the 50-50, like they pay us 50% and we pay the full referral fee. But you're saying no, the lead, any referral fee comes off the top and then we split it 50-50.
Yes. And for any of you on here going, well, wait a minute, that's not leaving the agent with a lot of money. Like, are they really going to be happy with that? I used to not do it that way, and I just switched it 3 months ago, and nobody's complained whatsoever because they're getting more leads and they're warmed up. Not only that, but then they have that new person who they've never worked with that now they can tap into for referrals, and those referrals are not paying that referral fee. So the referral fee to the lead, I think the lead aggregator company is just a referral agent, right? So the referral fee comes up, then the 50-50.
Yeah. Well, and that's the structure of a lot of just regular teams too. It's the same thing. I mean, the people in my, right. So why would these people feel any differently? It's the same thing. Okay. Thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah. Great question. Thank you for asking. I do want to ask, I see Rebecca, you have a question in here. What is the expectation for the agent on accountability? Do they come into the office, lead generate? I love that's a fantastic and loaded question. So expectations are really key, and accountability is key if you want to see conversions. Okay. If you don't want to see conversions, don't have that. But I don't think any of us want to start Teamerage without conversions, right? Expectations they have, it's going to vary. Well, let me say this. Do they have lead generation expectations? 100% yes. We have lead generation every Monday through Friday, 9 to 11 in our Mark Center. The issue with that is 65% of our agents who we have on Teamerage right now are dual career. So they cannot come in 9 to 11. Now, some of them Zoom in for part of the time because they worked jobs that they're able to be a little flexible. So we have partnered with some of our ALC members and top producers to lead some evening lead gen sessions and evening coaching sessions. Okay, but lead generation is absolutely part of it, and our coaches lead gen right there with them. Do they come into the office? Most of our stuff we do both in person and on Zoom. They just get incentives by coming in. So those who, for example, this morning we had 5 people show up to lead generation. While that doesn't sound like a lot, it's a great number. Anything more than 0 is a great number. Okay, even that one agent who comes in, congratulate them, shout them out. So those 5 who came in person, each received a few extra leads handed to them. So we always have like leads in reserve, kind of like gifts, right? So those on Zoom got a big shout out for doing the activities, and then saw that we gave people in person some leads. There's a whole more list of expectations and accountability. That is one of our whole sessions of the class is just talks about that. And putting together Teamerage agreement in that class goes through that as well. Yeah, but you need it. You need accountability. Great questions. How does the ALC and other top producers feel about Teamerage account? Do they get pushback? Brian, yes, you will experience pushback. Your teams in your Mark Center. So we have 16 teams in our Mark Center that I'm currently at, a little over 300 agents. And our team leaders, our rainmakers of those teams, so we work very closely as a leadership team, and our TL meets with the rainmakers, meets with the cappers and producers on a regular basis every Friday, and for their business consultation. And he shared with them right in the get-go what we're building. So there was no secrets, no surprises. I then personally shared with each one of them how, number one, I color personality, KPA, I KPA everybody, not the full CV, but KPA. And through that, we've been able to, some people are not the best fit for myself and my coaching team, but we're an amazing fit for another rainmaker in the office. So I absolutely line up people for other teams as well, right? It's not my first go-to. I want to grow Teamerage, but I still want to, you play nice in the sandbox, win-win for everyone. Not everybody's going to be a fit. So if someone's going to leave the market center, I want to keep them and retain them and help them be successful by lining them up with someone they connect with even more. So your Teamerage could help align people to those other teams as well. Also, you might be figuring out a way to leverage Teamerage to help teams, right? You're building something that most rainmakers struggle with a revolving door. How do I get leads? How do I do that? So having those business consultations with those rainmakers and saying, hey, as I build this, I want to learn and fail and then teach you all these things so you can do it for your team, right? So pour into your rainmakers, not in a sense of us against them, but how can we use Teamerage to help the rainmakers grow as leaders even more? Think about it that way, right? But have an honest conversation with all of them ahead of time. Don't have this be a surprise, because yes, you will have that contention there. Yeah, KPA, we have our onboarding system here. The second an agent joins us, their very first week, they have to take the KPA. That is a given. Is your market center with 50-50 split? How much do you pay the PC? Which side does it come from? Great question, Judy. So we have a base salary to our coaches. And then from that base salary, we then have a split off of market center leads, as well as, so they get a percentage off of market center leads. And then they also have what we call, because they're coaches, they have a additional coaching percentage for agents who want that shadowing, field coaching. So they have the opportunity to get multiple different percentages from that agent's transaction. Excuse me. You have to have the agents on a half cap. Suzanne, very good question. No. Our Teamerage, nobody's on a half cap at all. They are agents who are solo agents who are joining I'll call it a support system. Teamerage is a support system. It's leads, it's support, it's extra coaching, extra accountability. It's the features of a team without being on a team, right? It's the branding recognition of the agent with the features of a team. So they are 100% full cap the entire time. Yeah. Where did you get your ISA to nurture leads? I will tell you right now, the ISA to nurture leads, we are using a company. I never like to, listen, anything I mention on here, do your own research, right? Not everything I mention is going to be best for your location, best for you, best for your P&L. We are testing out a company that I've only been using now for a few months, 2 to be exact, Conversion Monster. I send them a bunch of leads. That's not our long-term plan. I was an ISA. I've built ISAs. I was a MAP coach for ISAs for 2 years. So inside sales associates is like a sweet spot to me, soft spot. So our long-term plan, by long-term, I mean by the end of this year, like not next year, this year, I will not be using an outside company. I will have in-house ISAs. Yeah. Are they at a cap, or is there no cap for Teamerage agents? So Desiree, every agent in our Teamerage is still full cap. They're not half cap. They absolutely have to pay in that full cap. Yep. Michael, thank you. Rise is an ISA component as well. Yeah, do your research, call these lead aggregators, have a demo with them, call Rise, have a demo with them, right? Just start with one. That's the whole thing is you have the agents at your market center wanting it. They are begging for this and not even saying it, right? They're leaving to go to other companies because other companies are saying, hey, we have leads. So don't let them leave, give them the leads, right? So find the leads, find the few agents and start. I think we have a few more minutes. If there's any other questions at all, please raise your hand, throw in the chat box. Again, I'll put my information here just in case you missed it the last time. Feel free to text me, email me. Would love to be a support for you as much as I can. You know, prior to getting into real estate, I ran teams at a university for many years and traveled around. I was kind of like the fixer person. So anytime teams were broken, they would bring me in to fix them. So anything relating to teams is just so important to the agents, to our brokers, to our profitability, to our growth, to our retention, to our bottom line. I mean, the benefits are endless. Right. All right. Any other questions? If not, thank you so much, everybody, for attending. All of you who attended, I will send you a copy of that engagement agreement to start with. And I really hope to see all of you on Brokers to Teamerage in 90 days. That kicks off May 16th. Please sign up. Please register. We'll love to start seeing that registration list go up and see all you there. And anything you need, please reach out. Now, obviously, this is recorded, so you'll also get the recording of this as well. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day.